Hello everyone, this is King Gizzard's Mars for the Rich. Apologies to any King Gizzard fans that might find this later if YouTube's algorithm is like nice to me or something. I'm just gonna briefly talk for a sec about my stream, because this channel specifically is a stream archive. I haven't streamed in a month because I went on hiatus for school stuff. I never made an official announcement here. I don't think I really made an official announcement on a stream either. So I've been on a hiatus to do schoolwork and stuff, but it's starting to wind down. I think I'm going to be able to get back to streaming in the next week or so. Hoping for the best. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll be able to start streaming again before Hyrule Warriors 2 comes out. But I wanted to play this game. It's like 1 a.m. I'm kind of like restless. Today has been crazy. Just talk some King Gizzard. I love King Gizzard. I'm really excited for their 16th album, I believe it is. KG. It's sort of a pseudo-sequel to Flying Microtonal Banana. It is considered Volume 2 of that. And I mean, starting off King Gizzard, I really enjoy Flying Microtonal Banana. I think if I like had to give a review of it, I think it is King Gizzard's most consistent album. There's not really any tracks that stick out to me as kind of like fillery. Oh shit. Flying Microtonal Banana is one of those albums that I can listen all the way through and have no real contentions about it. And that's not a knock on any of their other albums at all. It's just like, I have kind of a thing with albums where if they're not consistent, I kind of reach a point where I'm like, oh yeah, I'd rather just listen to these same like few songs rather than like listen to the whole thing. And that's not the fault of the album necessarily. Some of my favorite albums, like I wouldn't listen to them all in a row unless it's like in the background. Also, if I suck at this game, I apologize. I've never really tried to play. I've done like a couple practice sessions, but never anything serious. And it seems to just be like, oh, hold off the rats as much as you and as long as you can. Yeah, I think Flying Microtonal Banana is fantastic. Infest the Rat's Nest, which this game is based off of, specifically the song Mars for the Rich, if you couldn't tell, which is playing in the background. Hopefully YouTube doesn't kill me for that. That's some fantastic thrash metal. I'm kind of a... I don't know any other... I'm sorry that the best word I can come up with is noob, but I'm kind of a noob when it comes to a lot of music in general. If you ask me, oh, what thrash metal have you listened to? I'd be like, I've listened to Metallica. Like, oh yeah, do you have a Pulse also? It's not nearly enough. I do like metal. Typically, any metal I've listened to, I've been like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. I remember I listened to symphonic metal album Imaginarium by Nightwish. I really enjoyed that. That's one of my favorite albums. But getting sidetracked from King Gizzard speak, Confess the Rat's Nest is really good. Not my favorite of their albums, to be honest, but it's still really good. I think they did the thrash metal genre well. What the fuck is that? I have no fucking clue what that is. Oh my god, there's several of them. I'm out of bullets also. I think this game is lagging to hell and back too. Infest the Rat's Nest is great. I actually kind of prefer Fishing for Fishies, though. Fishing for Fishies also came out in, like, 2019. I really love Fishing for Fishies. I think the fact that it kind of goes from, like, serene... Like, the Fishing for Fishies song is very calming, very soothing. And then Psy Boogie is, like, that weird synth song. I love it. Psy Boogie's a fantastic song. So is Fishing for Fishies, the title track. Boogeyman Sam's really good. Acarine. It's a good album. Infest the Rat's Nest, I think its biggest problem is I feel like it kind of falls off towards the end. Like, I really enjoy the beginning few tracks, Mars for the Rich, Planet B, not Perihelion, that's later into the album, that's the 6th song? What is the one I'm thinking? Organ Farmer. I really like Organ Farmer. That's a great song. I died. We're gonna keep talking, though. I want to keep talking King Gizzard. This is my outlet. But yeah, in my opinion, like, the later half of Infest the Rat's Nest isn't as good. If you like the later half of Infest the Rat's Nest, but power to you. I do like Perihelion, which is later in there. Look at this. It's kind of insane how big King Gizzard's discography is and how diverse it is. Like, that's probably my favorite part about them, is that they're not at all afraid to experiment. And that's not to say, like, oh, no other band has done that. There have been other bands that have changed up their genre a lot. I'm pretty sure Radiohead is a big example of that. I haven't really listened to Radiohead. I think I listened to one of their albums, like, once. Once again, I'm a music amateur. That's a better word than noob. I'm a complete music amateur. It's always been something I've been interested in, but it was mainly video game music. I always liked that more. And now I'm just getting into, like, real artists. But, yeah, their discography is huge. I would say, like, their early discography is alright. It's, not, by all means, not bad. Although 12 Bar Brews is probably their weakest. It's also their first album. So, like, if it means anything, they've only gotten better since. I do like Eyes Like the Sky, their second album. Eyes Like the Sky is fantastic. I really love the narrative of it. I love the spaghetti western feel. It's good. I think it's kind of underrated in terms of their discography. And I mean, maybe they'll one day release Eyes Like the Sky too. How many times has Stu said, "Oh yeah, it's finished. We just have to write the songs. We wrote the story." Yeah, sure, Stu. I'll be like 30 before they release Eyes Like the Sky 2. What if Eyes Like the Sky 2 was their planned final album? That's not gonna be it. They did say they have a planned final album, but I doubt it's Eyes Like the Sky 2. I doubt it's KG either. I kind of got the feeling from KG's, kind of like that songs that play on KG, and just the name being KG, acronym for King Gizzard, it kind of gave me the feeling like, huh, maybe they're building up to, like, the end or something. And I mean, I wouldn't blame them. They're 16 albums in. They've left an incredible legacy just based on that. I'm rambling, though. I'm getting sidetracked. I started going in order of the albums. Float Along, Fill Your Lungs is a pleasant listen. Not my favorite, by any means, but, you know, a few of the songs I like. I mean, the title track is really good. I don't think is the title track the one that's 16 minutes? I like that song. I don't actually remember if that's the title track or not. I also like Let Me Mend the Past and I'm Not a Man Unless I Have a Woman. Those are great songs. Oddments is weird for me. Oddments has always been kind of a forgettable one. I don't know if that's, like, controversial. Maybe people love Oddments, and once again, more power to you. I love discussing music opinions. So, like, if you're a huge Oddments fan, like, hell yeah. Not my thing, but hell yeah. Yeah, Oddments I couldn't even, like, name a single song off of. I kind of have that problem with 12 Bar Brews. No, Elbow I can think off the top of my head. So that's, like, their first song. I will be embarrassed if that's not their first song. I'll look like a fucking chump. But yeah, Oddments exists. If you had to ask me personally, like, when did King Gizzard hit their stride? In my opinion, it's I'm In Your Mind Fuzz. I think, like, out of their first 5 albums, that's the best one. Oh, I died. Something killed me. I think I'm in Your Mind Fuzz is their best early work. Like, going based off of pre-Nonagon era, I think In Your Mind Fuzz is the best one. Even though I may actually prefer Eyes Like the Sky a little bit more. I really do love Eyes Like the Sky, and I think it's underrated. I can hear the entirety of the Godman's Coat Lust, or whatever the hell it was called. I can remember the lyrics to the song, can't remember the actual name of it. Good on me. But, yeah. I mean, Your Mind Fuzz is great. I think it also has a problem, same as Infest the Rat's Nest, where I kind of feel like it drops off in the second half, although that's also because it's a very big tonal shift. The first half of the album is more fast-paced, upbeat, while the later part is more slow-paced, a bit more mellow. And, you know, that's not a bad thing, necessarily, it's just different. And my personal taste dictates, like, I like the more upbeat beginning, especially the whole I'm in Your Mind melody. The medley, as it's called. I believe that's the right term. And then, oh god, Paper Mache Dream Balloon. No, wait, Quarters is next. Fuck, I forgot about Quarters. Quarters is good. I like The River. Don't remember the other songs that well. And I mean, making all the songs be like 11 minutes long is a huge task. It's super ambitious. It's not super great for me personally. But there's a reason they still do like The River at like concerts and stuff. It's fantastic. Like, if anything was going to be remembered from that album, absolutely The River deserved to be it. It's a lovely song. And I adore Paper Mache Dream Balloon. I love it so much. That might actually be. I think Paper Mache Dream Balloon is actually my favorite pre-Nonagon album. And it's right before Nonagon, too. The concept album that was supposed to be conceptless. It's really good. I love Trapdoor. I'm kind of a whore for Trapdoor. Like, I think that's like the quote-unquote normie pick of the album, but it's so fucking good. And I mean, Sense is also, like, a great song. Like, if I need to put on something that makes me feel happy and, like, calms me, like, I put on Sense. Because that's my happy song. I'm gonna die again. My apologies that this gameplay is so poor. But this was kind of just an outlet for me to talk about King Gizzard more. So it's fine. It's fine. Gameplay's not the focus here. Nonagon Infinity is obviously classic. It is the album that they're known for. It is their most critically acclaimed album. I like it a lot. It's not my favorite. I don't think that's controversial, necessarily. I feel like most King Gizzard fans probably have different favorite albums, but it is generally agreed to be their best. Like, in terms of more objective quality, like, it is their most ambitious, for sure. They went crazy with Nonagon Infinity. The fact that, at least I'm pretty sure it was all recorded in, like, one long section, or one long segment. And I mean, I love Robot Stop, I love Big Fig Wasp, Gamma Knife, People Vultures, Wawa, Road Train. It's iconic. It's the classic. You gotta love Nonagon Infinity. Like, Nonagon Infinity, if nothing else, is the gateway album to King Gizzard. It's the album I was introduced to King Gizzard with. I remember my friend Sarah showed me Robot Stop, and I was like, yeah, this is great. I love this. And then I started delving deeper into their discography, and I've never been the same. And then you go into their 2017 era, which is crazy how they released 5 albums in 1 year. And I gotta say, like, all of them are pretty damn good. Flying Microtonal Banana is, in my opinion, their most consistent album. I think Flying Microtonal Banana is so good. It stands, like, every song stands on its own. Like, I have kind of a weird complex with listening to albums. Like, I need to listen to them in the background. Otherwise, or at least albums I've already listened to. I need to listen to them in the background, otherwise I kind of get antsy because I'm like, oh man, this song I like way more than this other one is coming up soon. I remember Nelward kind of posted, like, he likes doing EPs more because with albums you kind of inevitably get songs that you feel are fillery, and I kind of agree with that notion. But I don't feel it with Flying Microtonal Banana. I don't feel like Flying Microtonal Banana, like, suffers from any sort of filler. It is consistently good throughout. I still have my favorite songs from it. I think Open Water is fantastic. Billabong Valley is so fucking good. The title track is great. It's really good all around. Like, if I'm going to listen to a King Gizzard all the way through, like, I'd actually probably put on Flying Microtonal Banana before Nonagon Infinity, even though Nonagon Infinity, you know, infinite repeats, you know, for infinite fun. Flying Microtonal Banana is great. Now, my favorite King Gizzard album is Murder of the Universe, which was next in their discography. I have kind of an embarrassing love for Murder of the Universe. I love the narrative. I love the kind of lore behind it. It kind of made me interested in the Gizzverse for a while. As I kind of got more into King Gizzard, I stopped caring as much about the Gizzverse, not because it's, like, not for any particular reason other than, you know, trying to connect albums like Paper Mache Dream Balloon to something like Murder of the Universe, like, that's just kind of like, it could technically happen in the same universe. They're just so far removed from each other that it kind of doesn't matter. The Gizzverse is more interesting in the context of albums that are connected to, like, the Nonagon narrative, like Murder of the Universe is. I'm in Your Mind Fuzz is, you know. Or at least that's what I've gathered. The Gizzverse is 100% completely speculative. And if for some reason you haven't heard of the Gizzverse, first of all, thank you for listening this long into this video, because I know you're not a King Gizzard fan. Every King Gizzard fan has fucking tussled with the Gizzverse at some point and come up with their own theories. But my love for Murder of the Universe kind of comes more from... I'm sorry, I'm rambling a bit. If you've listened to this far into the video, like, thank you. I apologize I'm a bit rambly. I don't really have a chat to bounce off of, so... but Murder of the Universe is fantastic. I would say its biggest problem is the Tale of the Altered Beast is just alright. I think it's good. I'd even say it's damn good. But, comparative to the Lord of Lightning versus the Balrog and Hantayumi in the Murder of the Universe, it is the least interesting out of the three by far. It's good. It's a good listen, for sure. Like, and it's probably... Nah, I would say the Lord of Lightning is a more pleasant listen through, but it's still... Altered Beast is still good. It's still a great part. It's just the weakest. Like, melodically, I love the Lord of Lightning versus the Balrog the most, and narratively, I think Hantayumi in the Murder of the Universe is so fucking good. It is like... I don't think I ever went through my life and thought, when I get older, when I'm like 20, I'm going to obsess over a rock album that's like that ends with like sci-fi horror with a robot gray-gooing the universe. That never passed. That never passed as a thought in my mind. But it's real. It's in my mind now. They really are in my mind fuzz. But I love Murder of the Universe. I could go on. I could sing its praises all day, pretty much. Like, Hantayumi is a fascinating character. I love the idea of a robot who is just young enough to be one of the last humans turned robot. So he understands the concept of what humans went through, like sickness and death, and he longs for that. He still has those human feelings that he longs for more of them. I think that is endlessly fascinating. It makes for a really interesting, like, dystopian, post-apocalyptic story. And it connects well with, not their next album, Sketches of Brunswick East. There's definitely fans for it. And I liked it when I listened to it. I've listened to it a couple times, and each time I've been like, you know what, this is a good album. And then I just retain nothing from it. Literally the only song I can name off the top of my head at this exact moment is The Spider in Me. And that's embarrassing, because it's a good album. It's a good jazzy time. It has Mild High Club in it, which I've never listened to outside of Sketches of Brunswick East, but they're good. I think I would like it too, because I like jazz. I like jazz. Once again, I'm a music amateur, but from what I've listened to, I do like me a good jazz. So maybe Sketches of Brunswick East is an album I need to give another listen to. We'll see, though. We will see. Or I'll see, anyways. Maybe I won't talk about it. But I really need to get better at this game, also. My high score was 130. That's embarrassing. I'm sure there's some fan out there who's gotten, like, a crazy score in this and is like, yep, I'm flexing my muscles. I'm better than you are. I could eviscerate you instantly. But Sketches of Brunswick East is good. I wish I remembered more about it. I know early on in the album there's kind of a Hantayumi talk after he's become God. So it's loosely connected to the Gizzverse. I wouldn't say it's the most connected. A lot of the songs don't come off as, oh yeah, this is definitely from the same canon. Then again, that's the nature of the Gizzverse, really. You have to make a lot of stretches to make things make sense in the Gizzverse, because none of it is confirmed. It'll always be speculative. I don't think Stu or anyone else feels the need to, like, confirm anything straight up about the Gizzverse. It's better off speculative. Polygon to Wonderland. I don't know if I actually said that right. But that album is fantastic. Really good psych rock. Like, out of all their albums that are pretty strictly psych rock, like, Polygon to Wonderland is their most refined. Is Not a Gun Infinity considered psychedelic rock? It kinda is. I would think so. I would say, in my opinion, it has a bit of an edge over Not a Gun Infinity. Not a Gun Infinity is ambitious and impressive, but, I mean, Crumbling Castle. That song hits different. Crumbling Castle really does hit different. It's so good. And once again, no knock on if you like Not a Gun Infinity more. Like, more power to all the King Gizzard fans. But for my personal taste, I would say, like, I like Polygon to Wonderland a lot. I think it's their best out of that kind of more, like, more expected psych rock. Gumboot Soup is really great too. It was very much a grower for me. I gotta be honest, when I first listened to Gumboot Soup, I kinda hated it. But that was also because, like, I kinda listened to all the albums in order at some point, and when I got to Gumboot Soup, I was probably a bit burnt out, and also I kinda reached a point where I was like, oh, this is boring. This album doesn't really have a concept to it. It's just kind of like a random assortment of songs. It's the most songy of the King Gizzard albums, if that makes any sense. You know, the albums that are, like, very focused on the songs and not, like, necessarily one central theme. But I've grown to really like it. I love Beginner's Luck, especially. Muddy Water is pretty good, too. All Is Known. It's a good album. It's a good album, especially given that many of the songs were basically outtakes. But it's good. It's good. It's a good album. I like it. And that kind of covers all of King Gizzard's current discography. I mean, I could try and tell you about Willoughby's Beach. That's definitely not how you say that place. But I'm gonna be honest, I still haven't listened to it. It was their first real major thing, their first EP. Probably one of their few EPs. I don't actually think they've released another EP since then. They've done several live albums this year, which, I gotta be honest, the live albums I've never listened to all the way through. I've watched a couple of King Gizzard concerts all the way through, but for some reason when it's in album form, when it's just the live album, I just don't get that same feeling. When I see it as an album, I'm just like, oh, I want to skip to my favorite song. And it's like, that's not what you're meant to do. I mean, you could. That is a technical way you can enjoy music. But it doesn't feel like the authentic experience. One day I'll listen to a live album all the way through. And they also did release a demos album recently, which I need to give another listen to. I listened to quite a few tracks on it. I like the Fishing for Fishies demo. That's one that stuck out in my mind. But that was kind of my chat about King Gizzard. Kind of went through their albums, and I feel like that's sufficient enough for you to get the idea that I like this band. I wouldn't have talked about them for almost a half hour if I didn't. There you go, now I don't have to talk about it on stream. And if you stuck through this whole video, whether you're a King Gizzard fan or you just like my content personally, thank you. Thank you so much. Streams will return soon. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. I mean, if you made it this far, you might as well. Ooh. I took a drink of my water. I almost choked on it. Fuck. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. God.